Hello and welcome. As a hotel AI expert with deep experience in modern hospitality, it's my pleasure to welcome all of you, the students of Europe Hotel School, to this part of your online learning journey. Today, we're going to dive into a skill that is absolutely central to our industry, adapting our communication to our guests. Think of me as your guide as we break down exactly how to create those truly exceptional experiences by understanding who you're speaking with. Ready? Let's begin.
This quote right here, it really gets to the heart of everything we do. Because in hospitality, we're not just selling a product, like a room or a meal. We are managing human interaction. That ability to read a person, to understand their personality, and adjust your style accordingly, well, that's not just a nice little extra skill. It is the absolute foundation of creating a stay that someone will remember for years to come.
Okay, so here's our game plan for this session. First, we'll talk about the art of adaptability. Then, we'll get into the real core of it, the 4 core guest personalities you'll meet every single day. After that, we'll start building out your professional toolkit. We'll even see how to use empathy under pressure. And finally, we'll bring it all home to show you how to truly master the interaction.
All right, let's kick things off with our first big idea, the art of adaptability. Now, it's really important to get this right from the start. This isn't about being inauthentic or, being fake. Not at all. It's about being flexible. It's about intelligently tailoring your approach to make a guest feel truly seen, comfortable, and understood. And when you do that, every single conversation becomes more powerful and effective. I want you to think of adaptability as the bedrock of everything you build with a guest. When you can adjust your style to match theirs, something amazing happens. Communication suddenly becomes crystal clear. Those little misunderstandings, they just disappear. And that's how you start building real trust, the kind of trust that turns a one-time visitor into a loyal guest for life. Okay, now we're getting to the heart of our session today, the 4 core guest personalities. This is the framework that I promise you will change the game for you. Once you learn to spot these different styles, you'll have a mental roadmap that will immediately elevate every single interaction you have, whether it's at check-in, on a service call, or just a conversation in the lobby. First up, we have the analytical guest. And trust me, you'll recognize this person almost instantly. They're the ones who come prepared with questions. They want the specifics on pricing, on policies, on the exact details of a procedure. For this guest, accuracy isn't just a preference, it's how they build trust. They need things to be clear, logical, and backed by facts.
So, how do we serve them best? The key is to be prepared. Have your facts straight, present your information in a logical, step-by-step way. Vague answers are their biggest pet peeve, so avoid them at all costs. Every piece of data you give them needs to be precise, because in their mind, accuracy is the same thing as competence.
All right, next up is the expressive guest, and they are on a completely different wavelength from our analytical friend. They're all about human connection. They thrive on warm, friendly conversation and genuine enthusiasm. For them, the feeling you create, that welcoming atmosphere, that is the service.
So, to really connect with an expressive guest, you need to lead with warmth. A sincere, genuine greeting is huge. Let your own personality and enthusiasm shine through. A friendly tone, a little bit of appropriate light conversation, that goes such a long way. Your main goal here is simple. Make them feel appreciated as a person, not just as a room number.
Okay, our third type is the efficiency-focused guest. You'll know them because they get right down to business. Time is their most valuable asset. They prioritize speed, results, and pure convenience above everything else. Their mission is just to get their task done as quickly and smoothly as possible, with no fuss and very little small talk. Serving this guest is really all about respecting their time. So you need to be clear, you need to be concise, and you need to be organized. If there's a problem, they want a fast resolution. Get them what they need, answer their question directly, and let them get on with their day. For this guest, speed is service. And finally, we have the reassurance-seeking guest. This person might seem a little hesitant, maybe a bit anxious. They often ask extra questions or voice their concerns before making a decision. Now, it's crucial to understand they aren't trying to be difficult. They're just looking for a bit of confirmation, a little support. What they value more than anything is your patience and your clear, gentle guidance. Your whole approach here has to be built on empathy and patience. Use a calm, steady tone. Offer supportive words. Explain things very clearly to help ease any anxiety they might be feeling. Your job is to be that steady, guiding presence, creating a sense of security that makes them feel genuinely looked after and safe. Okay, so identifying these 4 personalities. That's step 1. That's the what. Now, let's move on to the how. We're going to build out your professional toolkit. These are the practical, essential skills you'll need to put all this knowledge in action and become truly adaptable.
The first skill in your toolkit, and honestly, the most fundamental one, is observation. You have to become a bit of a detective of human behavior. This means actively paying attention. Listen to their verbal cues. What's their tone of voice like? What kinds of questions are they asking? But just as important are the nonverbal cues. Their body language, their facial expressions, these things tell you so much about their communication preference.
Skill number 2 is active listening. And this isn't just about hearing words. It's a 3-step process. First, you give the guest your absolute, complete attention, no distractions. Second, you acknowledge what they've said. Maybe you rephrase it slightly just to confirm you're on the same page. And third, you respond thoughtfully, making sure you address their specific points, not just giving a generic answer. All right, our third skill might just be the most challenging to master: emotional regulation. Let's be real, in our high-pressure world, you are going to encounter guests who are frustrated, impatient, or stressed. And in those moments, staying calm isn't just a nice idea, it's absolutely critical. A composed professional can de-escalate a tense situation. A defensive one? Well, that just adds fuel to the fire.
And that brings us perfectly to our next section, empathy under pressure. Because it's one thing to talk about these skills in theory, but it's another to apply them in those really challenging interactions, the moments that truly define a professional.
Now, this slide is fantastic because it shows the difference so clearly. On one side, you have the defensive response, things like "that's just our policy." That shuts the conversation down, right? It builds a wall. But look at the other side. An empathetic response like, "I can understand how frustrating that must feel." What does it do? It opens the door. It completely shifts the dynamic from you versus them to you and them working on a problem together.
Please remember this one thing. Simply acknowledging a guest's frustration is often half the battle. It helps diffuse so much of the tension right away. Once you've validated how they're feeling, you're not in a fight anymore. You become partners in finding a solution, and you can start working from a place of mutual respect to fix the actual issue.
So, let's start to wrap this up by looking at the big picture. What happens when you bring all of this together? This is about mastering the interaction and reaping the very real, very tangible rewards of being an adaptable professional.
And the payoff for mastering these skills, it's huge. You will see a significant, immediate improvement in your service quality and guest satisfaction. You'll build the kind of deep trust that creates true long-term loyalty. And this is so important for your career, you will dramatically enhance your own value as a hospitality professional. So I'm going to leave you with a final thought, a question to take with you as you go about your work. Based on everything we've talked about today, which guest interaction are you going to handle differently tomorrow? Thank you for your time and attention.